Hello everybody, I am Autistic, and because I am autistic, I have been cursed to obsess about Five Nights at Freddy's and Sonic the Hedgehog for all of eternity. Though, I'll take that rather than what non-autistic people obsess about, like, I don't know, wallpaper or taxes or something. But, it's only been fairly recently that I started playing Sonic games. Actually, coincidentally, whatever, I'm making this video, it was about a year ago, right now, I started really getting into Sonic. Around January of 2025, and since then, I've been playing the games every once in a while, and my wallet takes a hit here or there with plushies and whatnot, but today I thought I would talk about one of the earliest Sonic games, and probably the most popular out of the classic Sonic games, Sonic 2. I'm going to play through the game, I'm going to talk about my thoughts about the levels and bosses and things, and just goofing around in general. I will be playing on the Anniversary Edition, so we have the full screen, along with other things that weren't originally in the game, like the Drop Dash. So, with all that, let's yap! And I'm going to choose to play as Sonic and Tails, and let's get right into the video. And if you find yourself enjoying it, then maybe leave a like and subscribe. We start out like most Sonic games in Emerald Hill Zone, which is just Green Hill Zone, but Sega wasn't fully committed to reusing the first two levels of the game forever and ever. But, whatever. Just replace green with emerald. I'm sure no one's going to notice. We make our way through collecting rings, as the usual Sonic does. And I think it's interesting already to see some of the enemies that were in the classic games, but never made it to the future ones. Like, these piranha fish things show up in, like, other Sonic games. I have seen them in multiple other Sonic games, like Sonic Generations and stuff. But these monkey things seem to just... I don't see them. I don't see them in any games. They seem to have been left out from a lot of the newer ones. Also, by the way, I just looked it up. These monkey things are called coconuts because they throw coconuts. Wow, very very creative. Anyway, I reach a checkpoint with 90 rings, which starts the bane of my existence: the ring collecting minigames. In these minigames, you have to get all the Chaos Emeralds, and to do that, you need to jump into this little sparkly thing once you pass a checkpoint with 50 rings or more, and it teleports you to this weird tube place. I don't know, just go with it. In the mini games, you have to collect a certain amount of rings in different rounds, and if you make it to the end, you get an emerald. This being the very first one, it's not really difficult at all. There's not too many obstacles, but trust me, these get really hard really quick, and there's like 7 you have to do to get the emeralds. A large portion of my playtime, the whole run, was doing these sections, but we'll get into that in a bit. I yoink the emerald and continue through the zone, and I reach the end of Act 1, yippee! Straight into Act 2. There's not much difference from Act 1. We keep avoiding the coconuts, and the buzzers, We get to the next checkpoint, and we collect the second Chaos Emerald, though again, I'm pretty epic, and it only took like 2 attempts. Even if Tails did get blown up a few times, but I'm sure that won't be an issue later. Also, this is when my dad walked in and said I should put a mob hit on Tails because he's useless. Okay. That was weird. Anyway, we finish up and get to our first boss of the game, Dr. Robotnik with his drill thing, which is called the Egg Drillster, I think? I don't know. Interesting, though, like with many bosses in this game, we just beat the shit out of him without much resistance. I mean, all he does is slowly drive from one side of the screen to the other, so there's no issue for an epic gamer such as myself. He blows up and flies away, and we get through Act 2, very nice. Next up is another iconic zone, which will be reused game after game. Honestly, I can't really blame them, since Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant, which is where we are now, there's such good levels, especially Chemical Plant. Oh, feed me chemicals, yummy. Also, all around the plant, there's these grabby bee things on the ceiling, and it took me way too many playthroughs to figure out you've got to wiggle left and right to escape their grasp instead of just accepting your fate like I always did. There's also evil tubes of blue that you have to avoid. Blue. Feed me blue goo. Anyway, we fly through the first act in 1 minute 20 seconds and get to Act 2, where we get a lot of timed platforms and stuff, whereas Act 1 was a lot of, like, loops. Also in this act, we'll have to worry about the purple water thing, because if we stay in it for too long, we can drown in some of the sections. So we have to not mess up jumps and time things right to get out in time, or the terrifying Sonic drowning music plays and Sonic EXE will come get me or something. I don't want that happening. I reach the checkpoint and have 74 rings, so it's minigame time. I did a lot of these sections earlier on in the game, because I have so many coins in Sonic Origins, I can just replay it again and again until I get it right. This level was kind of difficult here. It needed me to do a few tricky fast jumps, which was kind of annoying because it gave me like 1 second to react. But you know, whatever, it took me like 4 tries. Also, it seems like my attempts are doubling each time, and if that carries on, I'm going to be in very trouble very soon. We make it through and avoid the purple liquid and the blue liquid, and reach the next boss battle with Eggman. Once you know what you're doing, this is probably the quickest fight you can do in the game. Just bounce on him over and over and over and kill him in like 10 seconds. The only problem I've ever had with this fight is the floor, since it has like falling platforms. And if you go down, you get instant killed. I hope there's no boss with an instant kill feature. That would suck, right? Foreshadowing. Sorry, something was like in my throat there. We kill Eggman and he explodes and flies away. And we finish up in Chemical Plant. This game is so peak so far. We're 2 for 2 in amazing levels. The only thing I wish was different, it was a bit more difficulty on the boss fights, but whatever. Let's go to the next zone, which is Aquatic Ruin. I always forget about this zone when I think about Sonic 2. It's not a bad one, it's just kind of forgettable, especially when it's right in between Chemical Plant and the casino level, which we'll get into next. Mwahahaha. But for now, we get through Act 1, avoiding spears and drill things, and I beat the act in 50 seconds. That's the fastest so far. Zone 2 introduces the aquatic section of the Aquatic Ruins by putting us aquatic underwater for sections of the map, and also giving us the first introduction to the bubbles we use to breathe, which is where I've slightly shot myself in the foot a little bit with my characters, since sometimes when you try and get the bubbles to breathe, Tails can steal it from you, and it's like, well, okay, I guess I'll just drown then. But, you know, we stay ballin'. We just gotta get to the bubble first, and we're chilling. The Tails will die, but screw it anyway. After running around and avoiding more spears, it's time for the next fight. This zone kind of is short, but it's not about the length. It's about... never mind. This fight has Eggman in the Egg Hammer hitting the pillars on each side of the arena, which sends out spears that stick into the other pillar, allowing us to climb up and beat up Eggman again. Pretty easy stuff. Again, the boss fights really aren't that hard in the game, so we beat him up and he explodes and flies away. Alright. Next level is the casino! Yes! Gambling! Oh, I love gambling! This is probably my favorite level in the game. There's barely any enemies, and you can just bounce around and gamble to your heart's content. There's also aspects of pinball here. I'm personally a big fan of pinball, but for some reason Sonic games love pinball so much, and like levels and pinball themed things, which I don't mind. I love hitting Sonic as hard as humanly possible and sending him flying upwards. I make almost 200 rings and decide to move onwards and get to the next checkpoint, and obviously had enough to do the minigame. So for the next emerald, per usual, it gets harder. There's a lot more bombs right in my path to avoid, and Tails just keeps running into every single goddamn one. We break our doubling attempts by beating it in only 6 attempts. It's gonna get worse though. Yay! Only a little more gambling later, and we are in Act 2. Not a lot changes again from 1 to 2. It's just more gambling, but hey, no complaints from me. Let's get gambling. Yippee-yay, I says. We make a bunch of moolah and get to our next minigame thing. Let's just unmute the background game audio and see what Kira and me were talking about. If you're really powerful in your job, then someone else gets your coffee for you. You don't get your own coffee. So just like that, if I let someone else fuck my wife, it's like, well, I'm not doing it, you know? Because I'm the alpha cuck. Do I really need to explain this to you? I mean, it's simple. It's simple.
You need to explain.
It's simple. Cuck
How
maths.
much of this do you want this in your video? Feeling like there's gonna be a lot.
None of this is going in. This is mostly for background footage. Well, that was a mistake. Anyway, time to get to the next emerald. Oh no, this one was bad. This one took me 11 tries to finally get the stupid piss emerald. This better be worth it in the end. But hey, at least there's only 2 more left. It shouldn't be that hard, right? Right. After getting the emerald, I go back to gambling to drown out my sorrows. But hey, I guess I can't even do that. Oh, Egg, how many fucking... No, my rings, no. It's like 100 rings.
Damn.
I swear to God, I'm gonna... My wife... I swear no! Eggman took everything from me. Eggman took everything I have.
Damn.
That fucking bastard. I've got nothing. I have nothing and no one.
Damn.
Oh yeah, 10 rings.
rings.
No. Jackpot, yes, jackpot, yes.
Damn.
Okay. Oh lord.
It's gonna be really funny if you got the
Another
fucking
jackpot.
another Eggman.
I want another jackpot. Yes, no. Another jackpot. Give me no. Okay, no. Oh, fuck off! I was gonna go after that one as well. I was literally gonna walk out. No, I'm not leaving with that. I'm not leaving the fucking casino with less than 100 rings. I refuse, you fucking dirty bastard. Alright, that's it. I'm gonna go beat the shit out of Eggman. Let's go. Or not. Okay, I could do the emerald thing now, whatever. I'm sure it won't take that long. Alright. Well, if you said that, then you would be right. Yeah. Somehow I did this one in one attempt. I have no idea how that works. Sometimes I will get stuck on one thing for so long, and then the very next thing, I just ace it first try. I don't know how. But sure, I'll take it. Give me the weed crystal. Let me smoke that shit up. Yeah, I'm cool like that. Definitely done a drug before. Haha. Nah, actually, you know, screw that. My drug are nasal inhalers. I love nasal inhalers so much. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, beating up Eggman. Let's go do that. We zoom into the next area where the boss fight starts, and we're in this big pinball thing. We have to boing ourselves up and land on Eggman while he drops spiky balls down at us, per usual. Easy fight, epic wins all around, and guess what Eggman does after? Yeah, that's right, he explodes and flies away, and we get to the next zone. Hilltop Zone is interesting. There's these ball things you have to use to launch yourself upwards. There's a lot more moving platforms, and that's all fine, I can handle. But what I can't handle is the lava. I'm actually not sure what to do in some places, because the lava is just like rising so quickly and it's just overwhelming. I've got no clue how to get through without burning myself like 300 times, so I'm always on like no rings. We move into Act 2, nothing much changes again, just more of the same, until we get exactly what I was talking about, the lava. Like, there's just an absolute skill issue on my end, but whatever, you know. We continue onwards. I don't really have too much to say about this section either, it's just kind of there. We get to the final emerald, collecty section thing, yippee. It's the last one, and hey, I did the other one first try, so this shouldn't be that hard, right?
Got our mouth sewn together for a Halloween costume. Yeah, like actual like fucking in the bottom.
Also, I love in that clip how I just didn't acknowledge it at all. Just absolutely dying. This section is so difficult to avoid all the bombs when they are literally everywhere. Also, another part I've been struggling with is staying on the walls, because once you go up the walls, Sonic slowly drifts back down. So it's like I'm trying to collect all the rings, and I'm just falling. And when I'm falling, I'm just going back into the bombs. And I just get hit with more bombs, and Tails is behind me, just being decimated, and losing all of his rings, and oh my god. Oh my god. This one took a lot of tries. How many you ask? We'll get into that in a second, because I rage quit halfway through and beat up Eggman. Per usual, easy boss fight. He just throws little fire at you and stuff, so I just jump on his head repeatedly. He explodes and flies away. Oh, I know he sank that time. Oh, okay. Anyway, I get through Act 2 and enter Mystic Cave, which has one of the most banging soundtracks in the whole game. Which is something I've actually not talked about this whole time, which I think it goes without saying that the music in this game is phenomenal. The music in like, basically any Sonic game is phenomenal. Anyway, we killed 10 billion bugs, and move on to the next checkpoint. So it's time to continue with the Emerald thing, or I could accidentally fall into Hidden Palace Zone. What? I genuinely have not seen this place before. I could be tripping balls from all the nasal inhalers I've been inhaling. I've never seen this place in my life. I didn't know this existed. No one told me about this. I kill little dinosaurs and break gemstones and things until we get to the next checkpoint, and now we can continue getting the emerald. Okay. Multiple times trying to get this, I was barely over the ring limit, and then Tails went and blew up, losing all of his rings and failing me. But in the end, after all the exploding and jumping and slipping and everything, I finally got to the emerald. And how many attempts did it take me? Drum roll, please. I lost count. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sitting through like half an hour of footage of me dying over and over again. But, you know, just imagine it's probably somewhere between 10 and 10 billion attempts. I have no idea. I've spent enough time working on this video as it is. I do not have time. I've got 32 kids I've got to feed, and I've got to pay child support to 12 different mothers. I've got enough on my plate. Eventually, I got the last emerald, and yippee! We have all the emeralds now. Oh, why did I get all the emeralds, you ask? So we can go supersonic, you know? All we have to do is have more than 50 rings and double jump, and then we turn into supersonic. Can you guess who entirely forgot you can do that? Take a wild guess who that was. Yeah, that was me. I did that. I only realized after starting work on this video that I wasted so much time for nothing. I am crushed. I am a shell of my former self. I genuinely spent like half of my playtime this run on Emerald minigames for no reason. I am so pissed off. But, whatever. Let's move on before I have a stroke. We get through the weird mystery world and onto the next Eggman fight. Woohoo! I says. This one, Eggman has a big tube and he makes small bombs fall before making one giant bomb, which we have to make sure Eggman is above when it explodes so we can beat him up again. After that, we move on to the next stage. This game is longer than I remember, but hey, we're in Oil Ocean. We can slip and slide through the oil tubes, fighting weird squids and things. Oil Ocean was always difficult for me. I can never figure out where I'm supposed to be going, because normally my brain is hardwired in Sonic games to just be like, oh, you know, go to the right and eventually you win. But it's more difficult going in up, down, and left, right, and woo, all the different directions and things. Also, I swear to God, they do this in like Sonic games, where you get invincibility, only to be put into a massive section with no enemies. Like, you're just getting flung around in tubes the whole time. It is the ultimate rage bait. But, with a bit of slipping and sliding around in oil, we get to Act 2. Anyways, I get hopelessly lost for a while, before eventually stumbling onto the end of the act. Yippee! And of course, Eggman is here. What else would I expect? He shoots some lasers at us and some weird spike snake thing. We know the drill by now. You know, get it? Drill, Eggman, egg drill. Anyway, we beat the balls out of him, and we get to my eternal damnation from here on out. Metropolis Zone 1, where we meet the Spike Starfish thing. Basically, when you get too close to them, they home in on you and explode, sending 5 spike things, which hit me every single fucking time, without fail. I honestly probably never had more than 5 rings from here on out. It's just constant pain and suffering forever. But oh, that's not it. That's not it for these levels. There's also these bug things that throw their claws or swords or whatever at you. So my suffering continues through on to Act 2, where you have to unscrew these giant bolt things to get up here. And there's so many starfish on the way up, and you just fall again and again and again. It's too high for Tails to carry you up, so you have to reset the whole thing again. And after that, like, you get to the top, and there's a mantis thing, and I ran into him like 4 different times, even though he hadn't even had arms, and I just died. But anyway, after all that, We finally get to the end of Act 2. Okay. It's the end of Act 2. Okay. And our next zone is Act 3. Act 3? Act 3? There is a fucking Act 3? For some ungodly reason, this level, and only this level, has 3 acts. Just because they knew I hated it. And because they wanted to suffer. They wanted me specifically to suffer. But fuck it. Why have 3 acts? Why not 4 or 5? The next Sonic game should just be this goddamn level again and again and again, never ending. And you can't close the game or your PC just blows up and flies away. But many deaths later, we finally escape the nightmare of Metropolis Zone. That took like over half an hour, by the way. I hate that zone so much. Oh my god. Anyway, easy Eggman fight. He spins his balls around, and you've got to hit him to make one of his balls come off and spawn another Eggman. You just do that over and over, and eventually Eggman's balls are all gone. He starts shooting lasers, so we beat him up, and he explodes and flies away again. Next up is Sky Chase Zone. It's your classical, like, side scrolly level thing. It's not too hard. Just avoid the projectiles and kill the children for no reason. And eventually we win. Get to the next level. That was short. Okay. We get to one of the last missions of the game, Wing Fortress Zone. We leave Tails for dead. Good luck with that, Tails. I don't have much to say about Sky Chase. We avoid chickens throwing eggs at us, and there's many falls of doom. Also, this thing is bullshit. I 100% thought, like, that fire would kill me. So I fell down here, like, 5 times, but whatever. But yeah, about the Falls of Doom, like, my tactic for difficult things in Sonic is just to tank damage and keep as many rings as possible, which, yeah, I know it sucks, but when it's too difficult, it's like, I don't know what else to do, so. Instant kill things are horrendous for me. But, eventually, we get to Eggman again, who traps us in a laser prison as a laser shoots lasers at us. This wasn't too bad. It took 2 or 3 attempts, but hey, at least I finished the fight by saying this epic line. Quote, "You're a fucking laser. You're not even a real person." Good one there, Waz. That's one for the history books. Anyway, after all this, Eggman escapes again, but this time, Sonic chases after him. And Tails isn't dead, that's nice. Tails drives us up to Eggman's escape rocket, and we grab on, and we fly into the void of space and reach the very last part of the game. Eggman's space base, the Death Egg Zone. There's no level here, it's basically just one big boss fight. So we start up and we run into the arena. But hold on, can anyone tell me what happens when a new level starts? Well, this is a new level, right? So that means our rings are gone, right? Yeah. Anyone want to remind me what happens when you get hit when you have 0 rings? Yeah, that's also right. You die. So in this entire fight, if we get hit even once we die and have to go back to the very beginning, keep that in mind. Just store that for a sec, okay? We run to the right and fight Mecha Sonic, who floats down from the top of the screen as Eggman watches. We have to hit him while he stands there, but be careful not to attack when he balls up into a spike ball thing. We also have to make sure to only attack him on the front, or else we'll hit the spikes on his back and die again in one hit. Also, once he balls up, he either goes straight across or jumps over the screen. Basically, you just have to learn his attack patterns, because you can't go back once you've committed to where you think he's going. But once all that is done, it's pretty hard, but it's actually doable with a few attempts. So, after he blows up, we move into the next section and chase Eggman through a hallway, huh? Fastest thing alive, and you can't catch a fat old dude. Okay, that makes sense. Eggman somehow outruns us and gets into the Death Egg Robot, a giant mech suit with big stompers and spike hands and a jetpack. My goal was to try and hit him as much as possible, as quick as possible, per usual, but you have to jump really high and at the perfect time to avoid his spike hands. So I end up just dying and... Oh, hello again, Mecha Sonic. Okay, let me get this straight. Every other boss in this entire game has been so easy. And for the final stage, there are 2 bosses back to back with no checkpoints in between. You have to beat the boss one after another without taking a single hit. Perfect. No, perfect. This is great. That's great. After a while, Mecha Sonic isn't much of an issue. But the fucking Death Egg? Oh my god. I genuinely struggled so much. I tried waiting it out, you know. Since every time he jumps, he leans down after, right? But after that, he sends out, like, his spike arms. He sends out a spike arm, and then right away, the other spike arm comes out. Like, as soon as the first one is retracted. So it's so hard to dodge, and like, oh, I hate everything. This fight killed me in real life. I am a ghost now, and my soul will forever haunt this copy of Sonic 2, which someone will buy at a garage sale, and... I'm getting ahead of myself, but you get my point. Jesus Christ, man, they really didn't want you to finish this game. But after many attempts, I finally beat Eggman for the final time. And Sonic runs out of the Death Egg as it blows up. We get a final scene with Tails and Super Sonic, since I collected all the emeralds, flying away with all the birds we saved. Yay! We freed a lot of animals from Eggman's being put in robot thing. Except for the ones I didn't kill. They're just kind of trapped there, but we got most of them. I don't know, sucks to suck. After that, we get to the credits. Wow, that took a lot longer than I was expecting. It's definitely a longer game than I remember, but hey, I'm not complaining. I definitely had a lot of fun playing through the game, even if I did forget to use Super Sonic. Who cares? I still had fun running around and spinning around and gambling around. So, I'll say my time was well spent. I could definitely see why Sega reused a lot of the stages in this game in future games, and now they're just cemented as iconic levels. The only thing I wish were different with the game would be maybe make the boss battles in general harder, since I mentioned there's not really a challenge for the most of the game, and give me at least like 5 rings for the final boss maybe, and like a checkpoint at least in between bosses, man. Hey, but we did get all that in Sonic Mania though, which is my personal favorite Sonic game. So hey, let me know if you want me to talk about that at some point. But I am going to leave it here. I really enjoyed the game. It still stands up after all the years since its release. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you'd like. I'm live on Twitch and YouTube most days. We also have a Patreon for behind the scenes content for these videos and such. So yeah, that's enough plugging from me. I hope you've enjoyed. I've been Waz, and bye!